Welcome to Equans Voices, the podcast by Equans. At Equans, we design and deliver solutions that support our clients' energy, industrial, and digital transitions. In this first series, part of our Break the Code initiative, we meet women working across industrial and engineering roles. Through their stories, we explore a simple conviction: we cannot build the future without women. So we're going to start off today with Georgia. Hi, Georgia. Lovely to meet you. So first things first, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and what you do at Equans today?
Sure. My name's Georgia Penta. I'm a regional energy manager for the South in Sustainable FM for the UK.
Brilliant. And what does a typical week for a regional energy manager?
So my week can vary, day-to-day varies just because we're so operational based. So whatever the contract needs, we try and support. But it can involve, we do monthly reporting, so data analysis, all the way to making sure there's no energy risk, reconciliations, liaising with the clients and the site teams, and introducing energy-saving initiatives where we can.
Wonderful. And what is the part of your job that excites you the most right now?
I find one of the most challenging but exciting parts of my job is the client satisfaction part. I think there's always going to be concerns around energy because it is the forefront of people's minds at the moment, and same with sustainability. So I really enjoy making a difference with clients and seeing how we can make sure that they're happy. I really enjoy that and that whole client satisfaction side of things. But obviously it does come with its downfalls sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. What type of clients do you work with, generally speaking?
The 14 sites that I support, from small like GP centres to schools, lots of schools actually, commercial buildings, and blue light, which can be police centres.
Blue light?
Yeah, that's basically just like fire stations, police stations. All of the above, really. So we work with a council, the police, etc. So quite a lot of different needs from different areas.
And internally, do you work with other teams at Equans?
Yes.
Do you collaborate with them?
We collaborate with the contract teams for the sites we support. We also work with the sustainability team. We also work with a team called Energy Focused FM, who are like a support team for kind of net zero plans, energy data, and that sort of thing. And we also work with a team called Carbon Shift, who price up kind of large-scale energy projects for us. So quite a lot of cross-collaboration. They will obviously have their own stuff as well, but we kind of work together.
Wonderful. And what kind of impact does your job have on your clients and on the buildings that you work for?
My job, the most important thing to do is kind of reduce the energy impact of a building. So that can help them with their kind of net zero targets. That's the same around the UK, all the way to kind of reduce their energy bills, stuff like that. So it's kind of a wide difference, but essentially it's good to reduce energy to help the planet.
It's wonderful. Yeah. We should all do this.
We should.
So I wanted to maybe go back in time and go through your career and the path that you took to arrive where you are today. So when you were younger, did you imagine that you were going to end up working in energy or engineering, or was this something that came up a bit later?
Yeah, so this was definitely something that came up a bit later. When I was younger, I wanted to be a performer.
Yeah,
so I wanted to be like a singer or an actress on stage. I did a lot of performing in like pantomimes and stuff as a child.
No, this is so cool. Do you still do it?
No, I do choir, but that's about it.
Choir is great though.
But yeah, no, I used to want to be a performer so badly, and I think I just didn't end up being one. But I think that's fine because I found such purpose in what I do now, and I really enjoy it, and I couldn't really imagine being in that industry anymore.
Fair enough. What first attracted you to that field in that case?
I was at university and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I did quite a humanities-based degree, and I was like, all I want to do is see how I can help someone or do something around that. I knew I wanted to do a graduate scheme because I was like, I can then learn skills kind of in any kind of environment and see if there's a job in that field that appeals to me. So I applied for the Bouygues Energies and Services at the time grad scheme because I wanted to work for a big corporation and they had values that aligned with mine. So very sustainability focused, people focused, health and safety focused. And that was important for me because I didn't want to work for a corporation that didn't have any values that aligned with myself. And it was kind of, we're just a number. So that's what appealed me to the grad scheme in the first place. And then luckily I got it, which was great. And now here we are.
I'm sure it wasn't just luck. And was there a moment when you are doing the scheme that you realized that, yes, this is actually what I want to do, a particular moment?
I think it was a lot of different moments. On different placements, I learned completely different skills and found my feet in every single one. But I think my second placement I did really cemented that I was happy doing energy efficiency, helping the country towards net zero the best that you can with tiny impacts. I got to go to Paris for the Innovation Awards that Equans held and present to the exec, which was a really big moment for me.
I can imagine.
And it helped cement my confidence and that I'm in a place with some wonderful opportunities and I'm feeling really happy with where I am.
Wonderful. Was there a particular person or maybe people that helped you get where you are today, so confident in your career choice, or that influenced you in in a very positive way, would you say?
I'd say that a lot of people who I've met in the company have been so helpful with everything I've done, all the networking. I think my first placement manager, he was so fundamental for me kind of getting an opportunity in this company. I kind of joined, literally have never done FM before, ops placement, hospital site. I was like, what is going on? And he really helped me find my feet. And then my second manager in my second placement, Simon, he helped me find my career today and connected me with my line manager today, gave me opportunities to go to Paris. He was really fundamental for that. And then my line manager now is really important. He always believes in me and he always puts me first. And I really appreciate that. So yeah.
Thank you very much, line managers at Equans. Apparently you're doing a great job.
And my mentor, she's
and
great.
The mentor, of course. Always, never forget the mentor. So important. And when you first joined as a graduate trainee, is there something in particular that surprised you the most that you can recall right now?
Definitely. So for my first placement, I was working in a hospital and I didn't realise until then how fundamental people and facilities management actually are. I don't really know what I thought happened, to be honest, in the background of these buildings before.
Yeah, just magic.
Just magic. Yeah. But it was my line manager put me on the help desk for a day just to kind of understand how the hospital works a bit better. And we got calls to move like bloods around the hospital and I was like, that's so strange. Like, how does that normally happen?
Yeah.
I kind of assumed the doctor would just take it with them. No.
Just in their
we do
pockets or
it.
something.
And I think I didn't realise how fundamental the frontline staff are and how fundamental facilities management is to making a building run. And I think there was something so special with the fact that we, with Hard and Soft FM, how we can help the hospital then help patients. And you see that across all of the sites we work with, schools, everything. But it really excited me because I was like, wow, there's a lot more to this than I thought there was.
Yeah.
And I can still continue with that narrative of helping in some way.
Absolutely, even more so because it's a hospital. And it's true, when you think of a hospital, you think of doctors and nurses, but you don't think about the people that keep the entire thing afloat through the light of like just a light switch, pretty much.
Literally a light switch, oxygen tanks, you name it. And I think there was something really special about that.
You mentioned something about hard and soft FM. What is the difference between those two? And FM just is facility management.
Facilities management, yeah. So soft FM is kind of where you see kind of your cleaning staff, catering operations, all the way to like security. And then you've got hard FM, which is kind of the more technical side of things. So in a hospital, let's say there's like oxygen tanks, making sure the gases are fine, all the way to like the boilers, that kind of stuff.
I didn't know that. So, I learn things every single day.
And then total FM is when we have both.
Both. Yeah. Okay. And not the name of the company, Total, because at first I thought you were going to mention this. I was like, what? Okay, so what are some of the biggest things you had to learn quickly as someone who came from, as you said, a humanities degree, so not necessarily something very technical, and ended up in a quite technical job? Are there some things in particular that you had to learn like on the dot super quickly?
I'd say the technical skills, basically. Just technical terminology that I'm still learning today. Yeah. I still have to crack myself and learn. So definitely the technical knowledge there. But also just how being in a corporate environment, like finishing university, it's a quite big step into a corporate environment. I worked part-time jobs since I was 16, but it was not the same.
No. And it's a massive company too.
Yeah, the discipline behind working, especially if you work from home, traveling for work, all of that is a jump. And I think with all my friends and all the companies that we work for and things we do, we've all found that adjustment of there's no more 3-month-long holidays.
Yeah,
all of that.
So
and
true.
It sounds really silly, but it is
That's But that's
adjustment.
a massive jump when you leave university. It is massive though. Was there a moment in particular when you started working that helped you grow a lot professionally and helped you move on to where you are today, would you say?
Yeah, I think all of the placements that I did to get me to where I am today, definitely. But one thing that I am really passionate about and I think is really important is the Young Professionals Network. And that's basically a network within Equans UK. We've got one of 8 D&I networks, and it's basically a group of young professionals. There's about 400 of us, and they put on events to network, socialize, etc. And that was really important for me because it helped me with skills that I needed to develop. So if I wanted to kind of help them with a project, I could do that. If I wanted to do public speaking, I could do that. And I ended up becoming really heavily involved in it. I now co-chair it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, with Chloe. And I think it's something that I'm really passionate about because there are so many young professionals who kind of just need that community around you to make you feel cemented in what you're doing, help you with your career progression and networking. So that for me was really important.
And I guess it's very important socially as well for people that just left university. Some of them maybe left their country because I can imagine there are quite a few people from other countries as well.
Absolutely, all over. And I think as well, going back before my time, but I've heard a lot of people say as well when they were working remote in COVID, it was really important. And we still have remote young professionals around the business who need that kind of support and kind of that difference of having people around them. So it's really important.
And is there only one young people network in the UK, or does Equans have the same in other countries? Do you know?
So in the UK, we're the only one. And then we actually do a lot of work with the YEP, which is the Dutch version. And then I've heard that there's another one in Belgium, but we're still learning and connecting. I think we're trying to build our international connections and see if there's opportunity to have young professionals networks globally. I think networks in general are so important.
So important.
It's great to have an identity in work, but also have something where you can share your values, especially if you feel like the people around you don't share those. Things like Women Together, Encompass, or other networks, there are lots more. But having like-minded people that you can go to about work does change your day-to-day, and it is so important, I think. So I'd love to have networks everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
It'd be great.
It would be great. It would solve a lot of problems in general. And you mentioned, because I'm sure that Equans also has networks specifically for women, so I kind of want to jump on the subject of women in technical fields. As I understand, technical and energy roles are still quite male-dominated, to put it simply.
Yeah.
What has your experience been like on this front?
So everyone who I've worked directly with, all my teams, has been so encouraging. A lot of the time I am probably one of the only females, but then again, that's changed. But I would say the difficulties that I find is not within the teams I work with. It's the kind of sites that you go to around the UK. I think some of them are very male dominated and have people who have worked on those sites for 40 years at some points. And I think it's quite difficult being a young professional who's a female with ever-changing technical skills, ever-growing even, and going onto these sites and kind of delivering a message about how important it is to save energy for the planet. And I think that can be quite difficult to get that message across sometimes, as it's like, why do I know what I'm talking about? We've done this for this long, and kind of like that's how it should be. Obviously, it's a really rare occasion when something like this happens, but I have had it quite a few times where my age has meant that, and being a woman, but my age especially has meant that I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about.
Is this something people make you feel, or something that you feel kind of internally?
I'd say a bit of both. And I think sometimes it can be quite difficult if I'm still learning and I mess up because I'm like, oh, it even looks even worse now.
Yeah, the pressure is on. When you need to be to have absolutely no fault whatsoever. You're not allowed to fail.
Yeah. And I think that's something that everyone's felt all the time, but it's just if you're put in that particular environment, it's quite difficult. And I think also I look very young for my age, and I do get that a lot. And I think that just doesn't help. So
I've never had that problem. Is there something or someone that helped you build the kind of confidence that is needed to kind of navigate those situations day to day?
Definitely. Like I mentioned before, my mentor has been really fundamental in that. And then also just the people I surround myself with outside of work, and just having those conversations with your friends and your family friends who have gone through it can really help you make that difference. I always think my godmother's such a role model to me. She was very high up in a company, and she is very strong believer and fought for kind of equality in the workplace and kind of women's rights.
Wonderful, yeah.
And that really impacted me from a young age. And I think if I've ever got a problem, I'll speak to her or my dad, who's another massive part of my life, and be like, what do I do? Exactly. And that does really help. And then obviously I've always got my line manager there for support as well. But I kind of like to do things myself and kind of get over those challenges the best I can.
Amazing. Can you tell us a bit more about this mentor? This is the second time you've mentioned her.
Sure. My mentor, Tiffany, she's great. She's a general manager at site, runs a massive team. And I actually remember meeting her on the day I went to the assessment centre for the graduate scheme, and she actually interviewed me. So there's been that connection there for a while. And she's a great person to just talk to about problems and how I can address them and overcome them. She's a leader who's a woman in a technical field, and I'm sure she's had all of the same battles. So having that person who can relate to it is really important.
Yeah, she's leading by example. It's great to kind of just focus on what she's doing and what she's saying and try to do it. And have you managed to learn by doing? I would say so. And over the months.
I think where I was 2 and a bit years ago to where I am now is definitely a difference. And I think I've become a lot more confident. I think if I'm going to a new place, I still struggle a little bit, but I don't kind of let that come across. I try not to.
And by the way, how long have you been in this position?
This position, that's a great question. I started doing this while I was on the grad scheme and then stayed doing it. So probably since the end of 2024. Yeah.
Wonderful. I know we already went through this, but just to make sure that we're all rounded up and I did not miss anyone or anything, what has helped you progress from graduate trainee to regional energy manager, like the kind of people or the kind of organizations internal to Equans that particularly helped you during that time?
Sure. So it was someone called Simon who managed to find this position for me because there was an opening, and he spoke to my current line manager who advocated for me. So those two were fundamental in the process. I think also just our learning and development team in general. The graduate scheme, I'm very passionate about it. I think it's a great scheme. There's always opportunities to develop. They do training, so you can kind of get all the skills that you need to kind of move on. So I'd say those two things were really important.
Have you had the chance to be exposed to different teams since you started?
I have. So that was what was great doing the grad scheme, is just going to different environments and seeing if I liked it. You learn what you like and what you don't like, I think. And I think that's half the battle. Like, I really learned that project managing physical projects wasn't for me. I had to do it. I had to do a kitchen renovation in the hospital. No, it wasn't for me. No. So, I mean, hands up to those in construction, because I don't know how they do it. I found it too stressful.
Yeah, I wish I could do this way. I could redo my kitchen, but to each their own. Are you interested yourself in training or mentoring people, or are you already doing it?
Definitely am. We're actually trying to implement something on the YPN, Young Professionals Network, where we have kind of an internal buddy system where young professionals can speak to people who are young in a very interesting career that they might want to go in. So they feel like they have guidance from someone. Because I think having a mentor who's a lot older and further in their career is fundamental, but having that kind of bridging the gap a little bit is really helpful. And I think
you need both.
You need both. Yeah. So we're trying to set up a system like that so people feel confident to ask questions that they might not want to ask someone much older in a field, building on that community. So that's something that is in the plans for 2026 that I'm like, we have to do this. So
great. And for someone who's never worked in energy management, what would you say, what does the job actually involve, like the actual nitty-gritty of it?
Sure. So first things first is just monitoring energy consumption. So we can have manual meter readings that are taken monthly or half-hourly data that comes through, so like automatic meter reads. We analyze this data and we manage the risk behind it. So a lot of our contracts have agreements where if we overconsume, we get paid a fine, basically. So those are kind of the fundamental things, is making sure that we aren't putting ourselves in a financially bad position for that contract, because some of these, if you overspend on energy, everyone's seen energy bills, it can be quite
I mean,
bad.
it happens to me. I don't know what it looks like when it's for like a massive building, but I don't want to imagine.
Yeah. And then also it's every day is kind of talking to sites, understanding the site, because every site's completely different and how you can manage their energy would be different. Like I said, a school versus a 24-hour building. And then it's also seeing if there's anything we can do to save energy, whether there's any teams that we can put them into contact with to help them with other things. For example, like sustainability teams, carbon shift, all of that. So it's a lot of, I always just say our job is fundamentally supporting the site team the best we can, and then seeing how we can make an impact by supporting the client.
And what kind of problems do you solve for your clients, or the buildings, or the sites?
So I'd say fundamentally the problem is how can we reduce energy impact? So whether that's reducing our consumption by changing our scheduling on a building management system, all the way to how can we make sure we've got LED lights by October to ensure that we've got more energy efficiency. How can we kind of optimize the energy efficiency of the building? Things like that, really. So they all have their own individual questions for us, and we just do our best to try and help.
And in that case, what would you say are like the most important key points in your role? Would you say it's like technical experience, analytical capability, or communication, or maybe a mix of the three?
I would say a mix of the three. I think communication's fundamental in any role that you do. I'm still learning, and I think communicating things the earliest you can is always the best thing. I would say technical skills you can build on. I've built on my technical skills in the role. There's always learning that you can do, but it's having that fundamental understanding that's important, and the data analysing. I'm still working on that. I'm currently undertaking an apprenticeship in data analysis, so I'm still trying to improve those skills. So I think if you've got confidence and you can communicate well, you could probably do most things. Maybe not some really technical things, but things that you need to do.
You're saying that you're taking an apprenticeship in data analytics. Is this on top of your current job, like after work?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, during work.
During work.
But sometimes after work too.
Oh, wow. That is a lot of work.
Yeah. It's good though, but it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Very motivated. That's great though. What makes you proud in your day-to-day work at Equans, would you say?
I think working towards a bigger goal and making a difference, whether that be with the people we work with, the environment itself. Yeah. I'm proud that we work for a company where it's very people-focused. I really feel like a person in the company and not just another number. And I really feel like what I do is going to make some sort of difference. And I think that's fundamental.
And kind of a follow-up to that question, is there a specific part of the job that you find most satisfying compared to the others?
I think it goes back to the beginning when I was client satisfaction. I really enjoy that. I think taking a client who's not the happiest to being super happy is really rewarding.
And how would you say you see your career evolving from there?
I think I don't really know, to be honest. I don't think you ever know fundamentally what you want to do. But we've got a campaign in Equans where we've got future careers that don't exist yet that will exist. So I think growing up in that kind of environment, I'm very of the mindset that I'll have to be quite flexible in what I do. And that's why I think it's important to have those generalist skills to be able to kind of hop, skip and jump anywhere you need to. But I want to make sure that I'm always doing it for something that's important. So whether that be carrying on working in energy and kind of trying to get to the net zero target, or working in sustainability, reducing climate impact, or just helping others, I think that's fundamental for me. So I'm happy to hop, skip and jump my career, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, probably a job I might do might not even exist yet in the future.
Which is super exciting.
Absolutely.
Actually. Yeah. Is there anything in particular that excites you about specifically the future of energy and sustainability?
Definitely. I think that where we are now as a planet with climate change and energy reduction being the kind of forefront of what governments are thinking about or should be thinking about to big companies, I think I'm excited to see where that takes us. We're seeing every day new innovations happening. So I think it's exciting to see what could be done and developed in the future. I'm excited to hopefully see a changing world where we reduce our climate impact.
Aren't we all excited about this?
So we'll see. But I think, the ever-changing ways humans come up with ideas to kind of make this reduction is exciting.
Brilliant. I was going to ask what you want to learn next in your career, but you already answered that you're doing an apprenticeship currently in data analytics. Is this something that Equans just offers to like all their employees?
Yeah, we've got a great learning and development program.
Amazing.
And I think if there's something that you want to do, they can try and find a way for you to do it. For me, the data analytics was important because I work with data every day and I just like to become a lot better at it, I guess, and just develop those skills. And no matter where I work in the future, data is always important, whether that be for people skills, technical skills. So I wanted to do something where I'm learning something new because I like a challenge. So
fair. Just to wrap this up, if, let's just say, a young woman is listening today and is thinking about jumping into a career in energy or kind of a technical career, but kind of hesitating because it's a bit scary, what would you tell her? Do you have any advice for her?
I'd say go for it because energy will be a really important field. It is at the moment and it's just going to carry on being important. You can learn on the job and you should just go for it because you'll always find a way to make it work. Everything is always fine in the end. So
amazing. And is there anything that you wish you would have known at the start of your career that you didn't know and that you want to kind of impact onto our listeners?
I'd say, like I would for my advice, that there's a kind of a pathway that you think you're going to be on and you might not end up on it. Be excited for why something didn't happen. Like if something doesn't happen, don't think, oh, what a shame, dwelling on it. Think, oh, what possibilities could come from this? And I think having that positive outlook has been really important for me. So not getting too fixated on the path. I think growing up, you've got to do your exams and there's always a pathway. And then you get to your career and you're like, whoa. And I think the scariness of that is also really exciting. So knowing that I'm fine would be great to know 5 years
You're
ago.
going to be fine. Whatever happens, you're going to be fine. Even if you don't end up exactly where you thought you were going to end up, you're still going to be completely fine. Is there anything you would say that makes the field super particularly exciting today? The field of energy, like working in energy and working in a technical role.
I think what's exciting is just seeing the innovations that we're coming up with and the difference that we're making. That to me is what's exciting to me the most.
Amazing. Well, Georgia, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you too.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and thank you very much.
Amazing.
You've been listening to Equans Voices, a podcast by Equans. To find more about Equans, you can visit our website at www.equans.com. Thank you very much.